Well, joining us once again are Coalition Senator Bridget Mckenzie and Labor Senator Katy Gallagher. Bridget, the government is promising lower power prices, but news today, wholesale prices are up 141%. Does that mean you have failed?
Well, not at all. We've seen power prices drop over our period in government, and we've been focusing on bringing power prices down, obviously, but also reducing emissions. We know we need to have affordable power, not just for households, but for our businesses. We need to make sure that emissions are going down at the same time. And that reliability piece, we know as we get more renewables into the grid, it can produce issues around intermittent power power supply. And so making sure that reliability piece is also throughout the grid is something we've been focused on. And, we've been able to deliver that.
Katy, the government can't be blamed for international pressures on the cost of living. So is it really fair to pin rising prices on them?
Oh, hi, everybody. It's nice to join you. Look, we've always acknowledged that there are global influences and global pressures that are affecting some of those price impacts we're seeing. But, the major issue we've got here and what we've seen over a long period of time is that we've had stagnant wages. So really, people are being smashed at the moment, not only with the cost of everything going up, but the fact that real wages are going backwards, and now we're facing the prospect of interest rate rises as well. So, it's coming at people from all sides, and that's why I think people are really feeling the pinch, whether it be at childcare, energy prices, petrol, groceries, rent. All of these areas are going up, but wages are not keeping pace, and that's what's creating those massive pressures in households.
Can I just address some of the issues that Katy raised there? Obviously, we've seen inflation on the rise here in Australia. This is a global issue. We've got it in excess of 8% in the US. We're just over 5% here, and that is as a result of our strong economic management. The globe is getting out of COVID. That is having supply chain pressures around the world. The largest port in the world, Shanghai, is currently locked down, and we've got a war in Europe which is skyrocketing our commodity prices. So on a whole raft of issues, there is significant global economic pressures, and it is simply our government that's been able to buffer that impact. And in our budget, we were able to announce $250 into particularly pensioners' bank accounts this week. We've got $420 going to over 10 million Australians with their tax return. And we've been able to halve the fuel excise for particularly people that I represent out in rural and regional Australia. The price of petrol really hits the household budget. So we've taken real steps, pragmatic, practical steps to help address the very real cost of living pressures that we know exist right now.
All right, Bridget. OK, well, then I'll jump in with this. I acknowledge that there was some global influences on that pressure. You didn't address wages, which is the real pressure that's combining with cost of living.
I'm happy to go there too, Katy.
And it seems to me when the government's got good news, you're right there for the photo op. Everyone's there taking credit, saying it's your economic plan working. But when you get data like we did this week, showing how much people, find it struggling to meet those costs of living, it's everybody else's fault. It's classic Katy. Scott Morrison. He's never there to take responsibility when things are tough. And he says, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. I think people expect their Prime Minister to show up and map out a way forward, and have more of a plan than just this short-term plan to get across an election and a long-term plan to deal with those economic challenges.
Katy?
That's the issue that is the real contest in this election.
Katy, can I just get your response to Bridget's defence of that lift of 141% in power prices?
Well, I mean, again, it's surprising considering the week we've had. Like, the way to get downward pressure on energy prices, and everybody knows it, is to actually have a serious response to renewable energy, getting those opportunities that come from investing in renewable energy. I mean, we've had the government criticising our plan this week. We've had Matt Canavan and Barnaby Joyce saying, that net zero by 2050 is dead. We've got the Prime Minister saying that's not true. What's been clear to me after this week is if a vote for Scott Morrison is a vote for Barnaby Joyce on renewable energy and climate policy. That's exactly what will happen if this government gets re-elected, because Barnaby Joyce makes the decisions about climate change policy, and that directly impacts people's household bills. We've got to get more renewables into the grid, we've got to lower emissions, and we've got to seize the opportunities that come with a good policy around renewable energy and how that works to not only deliver us, you know, the electrification of the system, but also downward prices on people's household energy bills.
Ladies,
it makes sense. I don't know why the government finds it so hard to actually deal with this.
Ladies, sorry, it's Em here. Sorry to interrupt. Look, Bridget, the PM has suggested Anthony Albanese didn't work hard enough in ISO. That seems cruel, doesn't it?
Oh, look, I think Anthony obviously wasn't as active as obviously the PM was when he had COVID. He'll have his own reasons for that. He's now out of isolation. I'd like to see him face a press pack, which hopefully he will. They've got a bit of an interchange bench situation going in. They're subbing leaders in, deputy leaders out. I'm not sure if Richard Marles actually has COVID, but he's nowhere to be seen on the China piece. So, you know, I think it's great that Anthony's out of ISO and can face the... No, I said, Katy, I said it's great that he's out of ISO, obviously. He's on his feet and on the campaign trail so that the Australian people can take a good, hard look at Anthony Albanese, who's seeking to be our Prime Minister, and make sure that the choice that they're presented with is actually going to lead to a stronger, more prosperous and sustainable future. I really have to address some of the issues, though, that Katy talked about with the climate.
Unfortunately, Bridget,
issues.
we are going to have to do part 2 of this next Friday. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We always appreciate you coming on the show, and the last thing we would call either of you is subbies. So, Katy and Bridget, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks,
girls.